I hope it was a good Dreamforce for you. This is my 5th Dreamforce. Can you believe it? I can't. 5 Dreamforces. I'm Dreamforce 5 now. I remember when it was just a little, it was just 5 of us. No, it was more than that. Now it's 14,000 of us. Kind of impressive. This is the last hands-on training session in this room for Dreamforce. So you guys are getting every last amount of value out of Dreamforce that you can, and I applaud you for that. This is going to be a session where we are going to talk about Salesforce to Salesforce. So there is actually, this is actually functionality that our CEO and Chairman Mark Benioff mentioned in his keynote, creating that private pipeline between 2 Salesforce orgs. We're going to actually see how it all works. So we're going to set up, we're actually going to use 2 orgs in this class. So for those of you who've taken other hands-on training sessions where you've had a training org, guess what? 2 in this class. So that'll be fun. One's going to be sending information to another, and the other will be sending information back to the first one, and it's going to get wacky and crazy and kooky, so hold on. My name is Chris Piper, and I'm an Education Services Practice Manager, and I'm a certified administrator, and I'm a certified consultant, and with me today is Anika Keswani. She is my esteemed, illustrious, and somewhat infamous driver today. She'll be helping me out, pushing the buttons and spinning the dials. And also with me today are some helpers. Helpers, raise your hands. Raise them up high. Keep them up. You've got Brendan. You've got Mariah. You've got some folks in the back. Some folks over here. Sorry, I don't know all your names. Oh, Wendy. Hi, Wendy. And they're going to help you. And you might need help this time. This one, some of these classes are pretty easy. This one can get a little tricky. So if you get lost, don't hesitate to raise your hands and have our helpers help you. Also with me today is the fabulous Brooke O'Donnell. She is your training expert. So if you have any questions about any of our training offerings for end users, for administrators, for consultants, for developers, she knows everything there is to know about all things training. She'll be in the back of the room by the end of the session. She's going to slowly make her way to the back of the room. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask her. Okay, so hey, last time for this Dreamforce for me is the Safe Harbor Statement, in which I get to tell you that any business or technological decisions that you make for your company or for yourself on our platform must be made with only current, generally available functionality in mind. No pilot, no beta, no chatter, no new report wizard. All that stuff is to be continued or coming tractions. If you have more curiosity, and I know I do, about the Safe Harbor Statement, you can go to salesforce.com. You can do a keyword search for Safe Harbor, and you can read this and probably reams of other information to your heart's content. So like I said at the outset, we're going to work with some orgs here for these exercises. Now, unlike other classes, we're going to have you log into 2 different orgs. And we debated long and hard as a group as to how we were going to handle this. And I actually get to make the final decision here because I am power hungry in these matters. So what I'd like for you to do with me, with Anika, is to make sure that you can log into both of the orgs that you're going to be using. We're going to do this all together. The first org you're going to log into is the Global Storage org. That's the sort of parent org. And the next org is going to be the Liberty Reseller org. So what I would like you to do is to first bring up a browser. Any browser of your choice should be fine. Anika is using IE. You can use Firefox. So go to the login screen. And for the Global Storage org, you're going to type in admin at df09 global 000. That's Anika's number. Your number is here in the upper right-hand corner of your monitor. So look at your monitor right now. You should see a 3-digit number. Replace 000 with whatever you see in front of you right now. And then the password for everybody is password 1. Password for everybody is password 1. That should get you logged into global storage. Now, do this for me, Anika, you too. Log out. Oh, I guess type in the username again. Sorry, I messed up. So type in that username one more time. Type in that username one more time. All of it. Don't worry about the password. I want you to copy the username. Copy it with your mouse. See how Anika's copying the username? Everybody see that? Look at the screens. She's copying her username. Now, I want you to bring up a text document. So you can use Microsoft Word. You can use text edit. You can use Notepad, whatever floats your boat. And I want you to paste that username into that text doc. Now, this is confusing. Please raise your hand. We all want to make sure we're on the same page here. So raise your hand if this is not working out for you. And what we're doing here is we're writing down the logins for both the global storage and this other one that we're going to work with, so that when we have to log out and log back in, we can do it pretty easily. Okay, I'm here for you. Just like Mark said, this is your conference, not my conference. I can do all this stuff in my sleep, but I want to get you guys comfortable with it. That's my job. So notice how Nika's put in global storage login. She's typed in that name, and she's put in password 1. So has anybody not yet been able to do this? Okay, so we're still working. We got time here. We're all friends. I'm not going anywhere. I'm sticking in this room. Let's make sure everybody can get all this stuff squared away. And get some help up here in the front here. Help up here in the front. Make sure that we get that username. Make sure you can log into the org. And then copy that username. Paste it into a text doc. Make sure that you put in that username. And you can log into the global storage org, and then copy the username, and then paste it onto a text doc. Okay, how are we doing? Still having trouble with some folks? Still having trouble? I see the helpers are helping people out. Give them a few more seconds to help people out. Make sure they can log into the global storage org. Looks like we're set up front here. Looks like Brendan's still helping somebody out there. Let him help her out a little bit more. Looks like we're helping folks out in the back here a little bit. Make sure they're all good to go. So now, let's move on a little bit. And let's have Anika log into the other org that we're going to be using. And notice that the other org is the Liberty Reseller org. That's our partner org. So that has a slightly different login or a slightly different username. And that one's admin@dfo9 Liberty. Don't forget the T, Anika. There we go, Liberty. And the password is password 1. So put all that in using the number on your monitor. And you should then get logged into the Liberty org. And there's usually a, there's usually a logo up in the upper left-hand corner, but, oh, there is. I guess I'm just too fast for Salesforce. Salesforce can't catch me, I'm too fast. So you see up there, there's a logo, Liberty. So make sure that you can log into that Liberty Resellers org. Looks like some of you are still waiting for that logo to come up. That's cool. Once you're able to log into the Liberty Resellers org, you're going to log out. Just doing some initial testing here. Type in that username again. Type in that username one more time. Make sure it's the Liberty username. Type in that Liberty username. Copy it, just like we did before, right? We're going to copy it. And we're going to go back to that text doc. We're going to paste it in. Okay? So now we should have all this set up for both orgs. Anybody still running into some difficulty who doesn't have a helper? Anybody who doesn't have a helper still running into some difficulty getting both of these orgs set up? All right. Wait a couple more seconds here, maybe a minute, maybe 30 seconds. Anybody here seen Colin Powell yesterday, the general? Who saw General Colin Powell? Pretty impressive gentleman. Actually, the second time I've seen him, he was at a Dreamforce that we did a couple of years ago, back when the buzz was he was going to run for president. It was very, very exciting, and then that was all quashed. But then, hey, Obama ran, so that was even more exciting. He's a very, very dynamic speaker. He's actually a really good personal friend of, not mine, I wish, but Mark Benioff's. Anybody here see Black Crows? Black Crows, Black Crows, yeah. That likes me, the Black Crows. They're fun. And my helper Brendan here likes the Black Crows as well. He's actually a halfway reformed metalhead. He was in a bunch of metal bands in high school. I think, were you a drummer or were you a guitar? Drummer, hey, man after my own heart. And look how far it's taken you, Brendan. Okay, so we should be all logged into both of these orgs, and we should have this text doc filled in. Anybody still experiencing any trouble? Fabulous. Okay, let's move on. So the agenda for this session is to give you an overview of what Salesforce to Salesforce is and how it can vastly improve your relationships with partners and even with other folks in your ecosystem that use Salesforce. We're going to enable Salesforce to Salesforce. And we're going to invite business partners to connect. Then we're going to look at how all this would work from the standpoint of one contact who will become the person that we'll connect with in an org. We'll allow that person to accept an invitation. Then we're going to set up this connection where we publish and we subscribe. So on the one side of the Salesforce to Salesforce connection, we publish data. And on the other side of the connection, we subscribe to data. So it's just like a magazine, right? Condé Nast publishes the New Yorker, I subscribe. Whatever they're publishing is what I'm reading, right? Same with Salesforce. Whatever gets published is what's going to be viewed on the other org. Then we're going to close the loop, and we're going to publish from the other side back to the parent org, and we're going to subscribe on the parent org just like we subscribed on the other org. So we're going to create this circle where if a record is updated on one side of the connection, that updated data is seen in almost real time on the other side, and vice versa, right? So we're going to see how all this works from the standpoint of these two orgs that we've set up. Why is Salesforce to Salesforce a very exciting functionality? Well, as we all know in the world of contemporary business, no company is an island, right? Companies need other companies to survive. They need other companies for all kinds of things to make them successful. You know, in our training and cert business, we're growing so rapidly that I can't hire enough instructors to fill all the demand for classes. I need other companies to come in and help me out with that. We, as a curriculum development group, can't create all of the documentation that we need as quickly as we can to meet the demand. So we have to work with partners for that. You obviously have your own examples of where you need to work with partners. They may be vendors, they may be resellers, they may be manufacturers, or they may be agencies that you work with, especially if you work with governments or work with other large institutions. So you need these other entities to make your business successful. The problem is cross-company collaboration is very difficult. I'm sure we've all experienced this in a very painful way. Right? Things like different platforms are used in different companies, different infrastructure is used, definitely different standards are used, different IT teams that sometimes get along and sometimes don't are used. And so the problem is that it's very hard to do even the simplest kinds of technological collaboration with your partners because of all of the different kinds of things that a given enterprise has for a given company, how that's evolved, and how there are all these silos that kind of exist throughout the landscape. So, Salesforce to Salesforce is here to hopefully address that issue. We can now take advantage of our multi-tenant application, and we can take advantage of the fact that we all operate on the same platform so that you can leverage this functionality with a partner of yours who also uses Salesforce to share data. Very, very, very powerful. You can invite someone to create this connection with you. You publish your information, what you want them to see. They subscribe to it, and then you can set up this collaboration. So what you're doing is creating this private pipeline between you and another org so that you can share very specific amounts of information with another Salesforce org, or if the case may be, with multiple Salesforce orgs. You can set up multiple pipelines with multiple Salesforce orgs, and you can publish and subscribe to different data or different types of information depending on the connection that you set up. So when you enable Salesforce to Salesforce, it's very easy, and it's actually it's ridiculously easy to do. We've already done this for you, so I just want to show you how it works in case you want to go back home or to your offices or wherever it is and do this yourself. You click on the setup link, you go to app setup, you go all the way down there to where it says Salesforce to Salesforce, and you select settings, and you click that checkbox that says enable, and lickety-split, just like that, Salesforce to Salesforce has been enabled for your org. There's a bunch of stuff that happens behind the scenes. I'm not going to worry about that for this class. From your perspective, you're ready to go. Now, next thing you need to do is set up these connections and define who's going to get to take advantage of them. So let's see how we would do this for our two orgs. We have two orgs here. One is called Global Storage. It's a logistics space. You know, logistics, a fancy way of saying moving, right? It's logistics. And Global Storage is a logistics company, but they work with a reseller, Liberty. That's their reseller. So Global Storage wants to take advantage of Salesforce to Salesforce functionality to share data with Liberty. So we're going to see how we would set up the connection, determine who gets to take advantage of the connection, what data is published, what data is subscribed to. Let's move on to our first exercise. Global Storage wants to invite Liberty Reseller to connect using S to S. You're going to do why is this thing happening? Well, we're joint selling with their partner at another company, and they want to share leads and cases with this partner. So we're going to edit a contact record. That's the John Channel contact record. Within the Liberty Reseller and the Global Storage orgs, we're going to create a connection with John Channel of Liberty Reseller. So are you guys ready? Here we go. So we're going to flip back over into the org. We're going to log into that Global Storage org first. So find that text doc that I had you set up and just copy that username. Right-click with your mouse, choose copy. Go back to your browser, paste it in, and then type in password 1. That should log you into Global Storage. Anybody not logged in to Global Storage? All right, good. So we're going to first do a search here for channel. In that search field, type in channel. You'll see some results here come up. You want to find the John Channel contact. Click on the edit button or the edit link there next to him. That'll bring up his edit form. You need to modify the email address for John Channel. What should you put in there? Put in an email address that you can actually access from this particular room right now. A webmail, a Hotmail, a Yahoo, a Gmail, a Comcast, one of those crazy web addresses that you can get from this room right now. Don't use your company's email address if you need to VPN because you won't be able to hit it from this room. Use something that you can hit from the web. Okay, once you've done that, we're going to actually, what are we doing? We're logging out of the Global Storage org, and we're going to do the same thing from the Liberty Reseller org. So now go back to your text doc, copy the name of the Liberty Reseller org, go back to your browser, paste it in, type in password 1, and click login again. Anybody not able to log in to Liberty Reseller? You guys are getting good. Cool. Okay, so we're on Liberty Reseller. We're going to do the same thing over here. So we're going to do a search. Click go. You see John Channel over here. Click on the edit. Link takes you into his edit form over on the Liberty Reseller org. Type in the address as needed. And there you go. So we've created, or we've set up the email address for both of these folks in both of these orgs. Once you've done all that, log out of the Liberty Reseller org. And we're going to actually go back into the Global Storage org. See how we did this text doc here? It makes it really easy. You just grab these usernames, drop them in, logging in, logging out. You kind of log out, log in. Jockeys now, I suppose. So go back to your browser, find your login screen, log back into the Global Storage org, drop in that username, type in password 1, and we're back in Global Storage. Anybody not able to get back into Global Storage? All right, might speed up just a little bit. So now we're going to create this connection. This is how we're going to build the pipe between the two orgs. So click on that Connections button. Connections button. Actually, it's a tab, not a button. And find that New button. We're going to create a new connection. So click on the New button. And we're going to first enter our contact, the esteemed John Channel. So put in John, and you should see a couple of Johns come up. Find the John Channel John. And notice how his account is auto-populated. That's good. And in here we have a connection owner. So notice that by default, the admin user is the connection owner. You could, if you wanted to, have somebody else, maybe a channel manager, maybe a partner manager, be the manager who's just kind of in charge of this part of the business. But for us here today in this hands-on training session, we're going to have the admin user be this connection manager. Okay, click Save and Send Invite. And now an invitation has gone out to John Channel's email address, inviting him to be a part of this Salesforce to Salesforce connection. So the next thing we're going to do is log out of the Global Storage org. And we're going to move on now to exercise 2. We're going to accept an invitation. So we've invited. How about we accept? So we're going to now go to John Channel's, your email account, right? Really, it's yours. And we're going to see what the invitation looks like, and we're going to accept that invitation. So now we're going to go back into a browser, find a browser of your choice, and we're going to find whatever email program you've decided to use. Looks like Oprah is all the rage these days. Anytime she does anything, it's everywhere. And we're going to log in. Notice that Anika is using Yahoo. You may want to use Gmail, Hotmail, Comcast, whatever one of you like, and log in. And notice that when Anika logs in here, in her inbox, let's see, did she see it? Did we see it yet? Did it make it through? Is it in spam, possibly? Where is it? Maybe there's been not quite yet. Has anybody gotten theirs? Anybody here gotten theirs? So you guys have all gotten yours. Okay, that's good. Wait for Anika to get hers here. Maybe do a bit of a refresh. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that one. You don't need to use an email template. Yes, yeah, it's a basic template that controls what that communication is. Yeah. All right, Anika, did we use the right email address? Did we start troubleshooting? Sorry? Still didn't hear you. Oh, okay. So we're thinking now that something with Yahoo. Is Yahoo slow? I don't know. I don't use Yahoo. Are they slow? Are they a little bit on the slow side? Anybody still not get that email address? Anybody here still not get the email message? So most of us have gotten an email message. That's great. Okay, well, that's something. Should we try another email address? It's not coming up. Okay. So we're going to try plan B here. Let's try another email address. So we're going to log back in. You guys apparently are okay, right? Anybody else having trouble? Anybody else having trouble? So one other person having trouble, can we have a helper help her out? Anybody else having trouble? So she's going to try another one. Gmail. Yeah, I like Gmail. We'll try another one here. And see if we get a... Did you do this? Yeah, okay. Okay. Let's see if Gmail is faster than Yahoo. Now it's a race between Yahoo and Gmail. Anybody here read the news about Chrome, the operating system Chrome? The big news this morning, pretty cool. A true cloud-based operating system. That was pretty fun. Yes, I'm pretty impressed. I want to see the cloud-based operating system. Definitely. All right, let's see if what happens in Gmail here. Let's see. Oh, we're going into this org. I actually use the Chrome browser. I'm not super crazy with the Chrome browser. Anybody here use the Chrome browser already? Yeah. What do you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Thumbs up, you guys thumbed in the middle. I got a thumb in the middle. I got a kind of a wavering thumb. I like the wavering. Animation speaks volumes. Yes, the wavering thumb. Yeah, I'm not really there with it yet. I'm sticking with Firefox for now. I suppose it has problems. I know it's a big memory hog. I have to shut it down every once in a while, but I think it's got some really nice functionality here. Oh, look at that. Oh, my goodness. So what you guys have already seen, I can now finally show you. So here's the email that you get. When you get the email, you can read through if you want, but let's not. Let's go to the link down there and click on that link. So once you find that link, go ahead and click on it. And then what you can do is log into the org. So we're going to log into the org here. Grab that Liberty username. Copy it. Paste it into that login screen. Put in your password. Invitation has already been reviewed. Is somebody else using 000? I wonder if somebody else is using 000. And we'll see. So go ahead and click on that. Okay, so here's your connection. Your company has been invited to connect to global storage. Cool. You can accept this invitation now. So we're going to go ahead and click on that Accept button to accept this invitation. Now we've created the bare bones of this pipe that's going to go between these two orgs, the very bare bones of this pipe. So it's been activated. Now we're going to set up, we're going to do some publishing, and we're going to do some subscribing. So log out of that Liberty Reseller org. Log back out of that org. Aren't you glad I had you put this stuff down on a text doc? Because now it's just about copying and pasting. So now we're going to publish and subscribe to an object. So we're going to publish data from global storage out to Liberty Reseller and vice versa. So we're going to publish the case object to the connection for Liberty Reseller. We're going to subscribe to any changes for the shared records of that object. Okay, let's jump back into our orgs here. And we're going to log back into global storage. Or is it Liberty Reseller? Is it Liberty? It's global, right. Log back into global storage. So copy that, go back to the org and paste. Password 1. Log in. Oh, yeah, someone's using your org. Someone here is using 000. Do you know who you are? Who here is using 000? Somebody here using 000. I wonder who it might be. There you go. Okay, so let's go back to that Connections tab. And let's actually work with this connection now. So here's the Liberty Reseller connection. Click into that. And now we're going to publish objects. So we're going to determine what will be published in this connection. And we're going to do specifically is click on that Publish Unpublish button. And we're going to choose the object. So here are the objects that you can publish. Select Case. And click Save. Scroll down. We're going to click Edit because we're not quite done yet. So click on the Edit link next to Case. Now we're going to determine which fields in case records are going to be published. So the nice thing about this is you don't have to publish everything. You can just publish certain fields. Maintain control over some of that data. So we're going to publish out the case origin field and the status field. So make sure you select those two. Once you've done that, click on the Save button. So we've published some data from Liberty or from Global Storage. Now we're going to subscribe to it from Liberty Reseller. So log out of that Global Storage org. Go back to your text doc, grab Liberty, copy it, go back into your browser, paste it, put in that password again, and click Login. So now we're going to go back up to the Connections tab here in Liberty. And here is the connection name, Global Storage. I'll click into that. And here we can see what we're going to subscribe to. So we're going to subscribe to what's been published. Notice that we see the case object has been published. We can determine what it maps to. We're going to map it to the case object in the Liberty org. So make sure you map case to case. I'm going to stop right here. Anybody lost? Anybody lost? Everybody with me? We're okay? You okay? You a little bit? You're just behind. Okay, let's slow it up a little bit. So anybody who's behind, raise your hand, and let's make sure a helper can get over to them and make sure they can get back on track. Okay? Not in any big hurry here, unless you have a plane to catch, and in which case you have bigger problems than Salesforce to Salesforce functionality. So I see a hand up here in the front. Can a helper, is there a helper available to, there's two up here in the front. Can somebody help out here? Make sure everybody can get on the same page here. Come up to the front here. Somebody, Steve, can you help out in the front here? Right here in the front? Thanks. Okay, anybody else having trouble over here? Okay, hold on. I'm going to wait till somebody can help you out here. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, good. So what we've done is we've created this connection, right? We published data from one org, and we're subscribing to it in another org. Now notice that you have an auto accept checkbox. This is an important checkbox. This means that anything that's published from Global is automatically accepted by Liberty. If you don't check this checkbox, then you have to manually go in and accept. And that can be okay in some instances, but usually it's not. Usually the assumption is, so I still have a gentleman up here. Can one of my helpers come up here and help this gentleman up here, please? Somebody up here? Thanks. So what this does is automatically accepts any changes in data from Global Storage to Liberty Reseller, right? Otherwise, you'd have to manually accept every change from Global Storage to Liberty Reseller, and that would be way too much for your end users to deal with. Now, if you're really security conscious, you might want to leave this auto accept checkbox cleared, and then you'd have to actually accept every time a change in data is made. But we're going to go ahead and click on that auto accept checkbox so that we can speed it up just a little bit. Okay, before she clicks save, everybody okay? Beautiful. Click on the save button. Now we have subscribed to an object. The next thing is, just like we saw before, the fields, right? Object level, and now we're going to drill into the field level. So we're going to click on that edit link, and we're going to say, hey, the fields that were published were what? Case origin and status. You could automatically map fields if you wanted to, and notice that Anika does that. So it goes and uses some logic and finds that, hey, there's a case origin field in Global. There's also a case origin field in Liberty. I'm going to auto map. All right? Now, you also have to edit values. So if a value is updated in Global, what's the corresponding value in Liberty? So click on that Edit Values link, and you'll notice that we'll say email is email, phone is phone, and web is web. And click OK, and we'll do the same thing for status. Click Edit Values, and we have these different case status values that we're going to update as well. So on hold, escalated, closed, new, product enhancement, closed, no customer response. It's just whatever the basic status values are for the case object. Click OK. OK, I'm going to stop again. Are we all on the same page? We're all able to do that? Anybody not able to do that? Anybody not able? Don't be shy. All right, good. All right, so go ahead, click on the Save button. And we've set up our connection. Just about. We'll wait for this thing to... There we go. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we've subscribed to global storage. Actually, should hold the questions till the end. Yeah, I should have about 10 minutes for questions. So we've subscribed from global storage to Liberty. Now we're going to close the loop. We're going to publish from Liberty, subscribe at global storage. Right? So it's a loop. So changes made on either end are reflected on the other end. So what we're going to do now is click into the Publish, Unpublish on Liberty now, and we're going to publish the case object here. So make sure that that checkbox is selected there, and then click on your ever-present Save button. And we're going to say, just like we did before, edit what specific fields are going to be published. Notice that case origin and status are already there for you. Perfect. Go ahead and click Save. And now we've pretty much, not exactly, but we've pretty much created a loop here. And we're going to close the loop now by logging out of the Liberty Reseller org. So log out of the Liberty Reseller org. Go back to your text doc. Find your global storage username. Copy that bad boy and go back to your browser. Paste in global storage. Enter the password. Click Login. So we're going to accept what's been published from Liberty. So go back to your Connections tab. Find your Liberty Reseller connection. Excuse me. Hope I didn't blow your ears out with that cough, but I kind of had to do that, so sorry. So, and then you're going to go to Subscribe to Objects, Subscribe, Unsubscribe. Click on that button. And just like we saw before, we're going to select Case. We're going to select Auto Accept. And we're going to click Save. And then once again, we're going to go into Edit for the subscribed on the global storage side. And we're going to automatically map fields. And then we're going to edit values. And we're going to go email to email, phone to phone, web to web. OK. And then lastly, status. On hold goes to on hold, escalated to its counterpart. As with closed, new, product enhancement, closed, no customer response. OK, I want to stop again. How are we doing? Everybody, anybody lost? Anybody? And it's OK to be lost. Make sure, don't be, ashamed to be lost. This is fairly complicated stuff. There's a lot of setup here. Okay? Let's make sure we all get on the same page. So let's reiterate a little bit. We've created this connection by publishing, subscribing from global to Liberty, and then publishing, subscribing from Liberty to global, right? Creates this link. All right, I think we're good. So go ahead and click on the Save button. Now we're going to go back to the Home tab for global storage. Okay, so that is exercise 3, setting up the connection. It kind of seems ugly from what we're doing right now. It's actually really easy. It's not that big a deal. And hopefully what you're also seeing here is there's an amazing amount of flexibility here. There's an amazing amount of granularity that you can achieve wherein you can control to a great degree what you're sharing or what you're publishing and what's being subscribed to, right? So this is really nice for all of these things. And once it's all set up, it's much like the customer portal. Once you do a lot of this setup, you only have to do it one time. You let it go, and it kind of runs on its own pretty much without your intervening. Okay, so let's see how we would actually use this connection. So we're going to share a case record out with Liberty Reseller. We're going to share a case with Liberty Reseller so they can jointly work the support issue. So let's go back into our global storage org. Make sure you're logged into global storage, and go to your cases tab. Now we're going to actually create a brand new case record. So click on the new button and fill in the pertinent information here. Put in Barb and then click that lookup icon. Should bring up the Barb Stevens contact, and it should autofill the account for us. The status here will be new, the priority medium. Case origin in this case will be phone, and then we'll put some simple text into the subject field. Exercise 4, interesting. Okay, my storage container is leaking. That's not good. Don't you know what's in that storage container. Okay, so we're going to click on the Save button now. So how do we actually share this record out to Liberty Reseller? Well, there's a related list that controls this. Now, we've already put this related list on the page layout. Just so you guys know, when you set this up, you're going to have to put this page or this related list on whatever page layouts you want to be able to take advantage of this functionality. We did this for you already. You know, try to save a little bit of time. So click on that Forward This Case button. And here we see the available connections that you can forward this case to. And we have that Liberty Reseller connection. Go ahead and push it over by clicking the Add button. Make sure that you select the Send Notification Email. And go ahead and select that, Anika. And make sure you select Cases there as well. All right, once you've done that, click Save. Going to stop again. Everybody on the same page with me? I got one hand over here, one hand over here. I got two up here, two hands up here. Can we get some assistance up here in the front? This gentleman up here needs to be on the same page. So that checkbox, that cases checkbox, means that the case data from the case record will be shared, but also any related information from the case. And there could be lots of important related information that needs to be shared as well. Now, there are some limitations here. Depending on how you set up your connection, related information may or may not be shared. And that kind of depends on the connection that you set up. In this case, we'll be able to see that related information as well as the basic case fields that are shared to the Liberty Reseller org. All right. So we've forwarded the case. Notice that it has a status of pending. Hasn't been actually viewed on the Liberty Reseller side, but we see a lot of good information here. And I want to point out this connection owner. This is an important field, connection owner. If you have workflow, and a lot of you have workflow set up, you can utilize this connection owner field to leverage workflow. So maybe when a case is shared to Liberty and a change is made to that case, you want an email alert to go out, or you want another field to be updated. That connection owner field will be the basic field that you'll utilize for workflow, maybe data validation, maybe reports and dashboards, maybe list views. And it's a very useful field for those kinds of things. Okay, are we all good? Anybody still? Okay, cool. So now we've shared the case. Let's log out of the global storage org. And we're going to accept and update the record. So on to exercise number 5. Accept and update the record. So we're going to now log into the Liberty Reseller, accept the case, so they can jointly work on this particular issue. So let's jump back into the browser here, go back into our Liberty Reseller org. So find that text document again, copy your username, go back into your browser, paste it into the username field, put in password 1, log into Liberty Reseller, and let's find that case. So go to the Cases tab, bring up that. Now notice that you have another thing that you get as a part of this connection is a queue. So a special queue of all cases shared from global to Liberty. Pretty nice. You can leverage that same list view functionality. Select that queue, and here's the case that was shared. Let's click into the case. Click on the Edit button. And now we can jointly work this case. If you'll notice that the status coming over is escalated, but on the Liberty side, we can actually, I'm sorry, the status is new. On the Liberty side, we can move it over to escalated. And we can even, okay, once we do that, we can click on the Save button. And then we made that really simple change to the case. We log back out of that Liberty reseller org. And I bet you know what we're going to do now, right? You know where we're going? You know where I'm going now, right? We're going to log back into global storage and take a look at that case. I'm going to view the updated record. That's exercise number 6. A lot of exercises in this class. So go back into your browser. Actually, I think I forgot a step. Go to the text doc first. Right? We got to go to the text doc. Let's go to the text doc first. Shoot, forgot a step. Copy that username. Find your browser. Paste it into the username field. Type in the password 1 again. Click on the login button. Go back to global storage. Find that case once again. Anika's going to the Cases tab. Here's exercise number 4. Click into the case. And notice that the status is escalated. Scroll down a bit, Anika. I want to show you a few other pieces of information here. So notice that last modified by is connection user. That's an important field. Now, we know that somebody on the Liberty side actually modified this, not somebody on the global storage side. So again, for workflow, for reports, for dashboards, and all that kind of stuff, this is an important field to pay attention to. Okay, good. I do believe, is anything else? Is that it? So that concludes exercise number 6, and I think that concludes the session. Hey, this is kind of, complex functionality, so there's a lot of help that we've made available to you to help you set it up and run it efficiently. I want to point out that the URL in your printed material is wrong. The URL on the screen is right. So if you do want to access the blogs and the setup guides, use the URLs that are on the screen. So you may want to jot down the correct URL here. Again, the URL on the printed material is wrong. The URL on the screens is right. Make sure you get the right URL off of the screen so that you can leverage that additional help for you. I'll give you a couple of minutes to write that down. Maybe we can we, I guess we can't make that any bigger. Can we make that any bigger, possibly? Let's pop that way up there and see if we can, for folks in the back. There you go. Perfect. Thanks, Anika. There you go. How's that? A little bit better in the back there? A little bit easier to see? Give you a couple minutes to type in the right URL there. Anybody still writing that down? Are you still writing that down? Okay, give you another 30 seconds or so to write that down. And we're getting close to questions, so helpers, if I can get a microphone ready for questions. Get a microphone ready for questions if there are any. Okay, good. So there's some extra information there for you. If you still haven't had a chance to write that down, you can corral myself or Anika after the class, and we'll point you to the right place. If this is interesting information and you want to learn more about Salesforce to Salesforce, there's lots of other resources available to you. Again, Brooke is in the back now. She's slowly made her way to the back, and she'll be available there for any questions you have about other training offerings that we have. Also want to mention Premier Training. It's a new product offering from the Training and Cert department. It's sort of an all-you-can-eat approach to training. If you have a training program that you'd like to utilize Salesforce for, Premier Training includes instructor-led training and includes a catalog of over 50 e-learning modules. It also includes a consultation by myself, possibly, or one of our other training experts. And it also includes possibly, depending on your company's users, setting up a private workshop. If you have information about Premier Training, please talk to Brooke, talk to myself, or you can talk to one of our experts in the campground and the expo if it's still open. I'm not sure if it's still open. And then lastly, I'd like to thank you very much for hopefully sticking with me in this session. This is a rather complicated session, a lot of logging out, a lot of logging in. I think you guys actually did very well. So thanks so much for that. And then lastly, before I open it up for questions, I'd like you to fill out a very simple survey so that you can let me and Anika and our helpers know how we're doing. So to access the survey, go back into either of the orgs, I don't care which one, the Global Storage or the Liberty. Click on the Home tab, scroll down, and about halfway down there you'll see Core Survey. There's a link. Click on that link, and I'll bring up the survey. And the class, or the session that you just completed was Connect with Your Partners Using Salesforce to Salesforce. And there's a couple of additional questions for you to answer there. And thank you all very much. I hope it was a good session. I hope it was a good Dreamforce. And I now have about 10 or so minutes to open it up for questions. So thanks again. Thank you.
Thank you. That was a great session. I was very curious if you can set this up as like almost an auto sharing. So I'm thinking opportunities. If you wanted to share with a partner, could it be based on a set of criteria? So on an opportunity, it meets, this field equals this. Could it automatically share?
Not out of the box, no.
Not out of the box. No. You have to share one-on-one each time you want to share something. It's got to be
right. So you have to do it through the UI one-on-one each time. Yeah.
Thank you.
Over here.
Hi. I wanted to know, I'm pretty sure it's probably a yes, but both orgs have to have the same exact custom object?
No, they don't. That's why you have the ability to map one to the other. So you don't have to map case to case. You can map case to something else if you want to, which is why we give you that additional functionality. It gets much more complicated from an administrative standpoint if you don't, but in a technical sense, you don't have to. You can share object A on global to object Z on Liberty if you want to. And that's why we have the, you see the fields that you can share and even the values of those fields that you can share. So you can get way down to that granular level if you want to. Now, as a best practice, don't do that. As a best practice, try to keep it the same because administratively it'll be a lot easier to handle.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. I think I saw a hand over here, 2 hands over here.
Which editions of Salesforce can you connect between?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I think, help me helpers, I think it's all editions except group. Somebody know that? No, shoot. Oh, well. I believe it's all except group, but I'm pretty sure it's all except group. I can find out for you if you want, but yeah. Any question here?
Chris, who has the ability to do that sharing of an individual record? Say it's an opportunity, and I've created a new opportunity I want to share with one of my partners. As the owner of that record, do I have that ability, or do I have to go to an admin to do that?
So the owner of the record, depending on the profile, right? There are some profile permissions that control that. So it might be the owner of the record if that owner's profile allows them to do that. So it depends, kind of, sort of. A few other hands. Let's see, I think he was next.
Here. So in the process of creating the connection between one organization and another, you have the ability to auto-accept or leave that checkbox unchecked.
Yes.
When you leave it unchecked, do you get the email for new cases, objects, sharing immediately?
No.
Or is there a digest form?
So the email is only for the connection.
Okay.
So once the connection is in place, you'll see in the GUI that a change has been made on the global side. Do you want to accept that change on the Liberty side? But it's not handled through email, thankfully. It's not. It's just for the one time, for the connection itself. I think I saw some other hands up here. It's on. It's on. So actually, no, because it's all from one Salesforce org to another Salesforce org. Yeah, So that's only going to control logging into the org. Once you're logged into the org, our security model takes over. So it wouldn't. So the only security that would worry about would be to control the Liberty reseller user from logging into the Liberty reseller org. Once that happens, then the Liberty reseller security model takes over to control what that user can see. That's right. All within our cloud. That's right. That's exactly right. It's all within the org, between the orgs, on our servers. Sure. Yeah. Yes. I think there's logic that makes a suggestion, but if you want to, you could choose another object. Mm-hmm. It would map. I mean, you would say, okay, I want any changes on a case record to map to the account on the Liberty side, and then you could set that up. And then you could say, okay, well, here's the fields on the global side. What fields on the account on the Liberty side would this map to? And then what values within that field. So again, it's however you want to set it up. Okay. I think up here first, and then we'll go back there. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, okay. So like accounts and contact, or accounts and opportunities, or products, yeah. I think it's because it's master detail, it should inherit, yeah. Yeah.
And then my second question is, if the organization that's sharing changes their field values, their list of values for their field, and you've already got it mapped.
Good question. That's a good. I don't know the answer to that either.
You do get notified. That's what those emails were for. There is a template email.
Okay.
And every time you do something, you get emails saying, you subscribe has changed, a publish has changed. You do keep getting updates. And you can customize those emails.
So she has a great question here, you guys. If you didn't hear it, it is, hey, I published from case to case, right? And what if I add a status value to the case status field on global? Is that going to? I'm going to be notified if there's a change on the Liberty side, and the answer is yes. There's an email that goes out that notifies you that a change has been made on the global side. Would I like to add that as a value on the Liberty side? So that's actually a really good question. Whoever the connection manager is, yes, whoever that connection manager is. Okay, I think I got to go here.
And I was just going to mention that we did determine that Salesforce is available for all editions.
All editions.
Looked in help and training.
So there you go, help and training. See, I was going to look that up, but I guess Brendan did it for me. And then up here, I think we have another. Oh, I'm sorry, up here.
One question. Dashboards, can you share dashboards?
I didn't hear you.
Dashboards? Dashboards. Can you share dashboards?
I don't know. Steve, can you share dashboards? No, and you can. So no, I don't think you can. Okay. I don't think you can share a dashboard.
But you can always submit it to ideas.salesforce.com, and everybody.
Yeah, because that would be something.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, one more, and then I got to shut it down. Oh, one more here. Right. Sure. I'll give you the quick of a connection finder. So, a lot of times you don't know if your partners are using Salesforce. So with Connection Finder, we set up some functionality for you to broadcast out using a very simple survey it goes out via email, whether your partners use Salesforce. So you, in the Connection Finder functionality, say, I want to send these folks an email asking them sort of officially if they use Salesforce. And it's a survey, actually, that they bring up in the body of the email. If they do use Salesforce, then you can take the next steps and set up the connection with them if you want. And so this is a nice way of managing that and making being able to set up multiple connections or set up connections with newer partners much more quickly than you had to otherwise. So that's what they call. That's out now. As of Winter 10, so that's out now. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for your time, energy, efforts. Hopefully not too much frustration here. Thanks again for a great Dreamforce, and maybe I'll see you in a classroom. Maybe I'll see you next year. Who knows? All right? Thanks, everybody.